Okay, so this may be the climax and the end of the Sukuna and the Gojo fight for the title of the strongest, which is honestly what this fight has turned into, at least for the fan base. And we seemingly finally get an answer to who was truly the strongest in this chapter, at least if you believe that we can actually trust what the narrator says in Jujutsu Kaisen. But picking up from the last chapter, it picks over Gojo, who's grown his arm after he got it lopped off by Magaraga, who's seemingly able to use Sukuna's cleave and dismantle when Sukuna's in the shadows, which is absolutely busted, and killing Agito using Reversal Blue. And after realizing that his attempt to jump Gojo with Magaraga and Agito has more or less failed, and Gojo has received a buff from landing 2 black flashes in a row on Sukuna and Agito for the first time in 1,000 years, Ryumin Sukuna is actually nervous. And after reading this, I'm more interested in who or what would actually make Sukuna feel nervous, because throughout JJK, up until this point, whenever we've seen Sukuna, he's always been pretty level-headed, confident, and has had control of the situations that he's been in. So I'm honestly wondering, back in the Heron era, what would actually make him feel so helpless to the point where after he became the strongest, well, I mean, he forgot that a feeling like this could even exist. Especially when you consider that Sukuna himself wasn't even afraid of death, since he actually did have a way of coming back. So him actually experiencing a feeling like this to the point where he never experienced it up until 1,000 years later is just an interesting fact that I thought I should kind of point out. And then we see Gojo land a 3rd Black Flash on Madaraka, who then reappears in front of Sukuna, who's beginning to actually sweat bullets. And looking for Sukuna, Daddy Magaraga is just taking a lot of Black Flashes that Gojo is landing, which is just insane. But Gojo still has enough strength to land a 4th Black Flash to send Magaraga flying across the battlefield after Sukuna tried countering Gojo's attack. But Gojo is just blocking a lot of Sukuna's attacks effortlessly at this point. I mean, it just aren't having really any effect on this man. And unfortunately, although Gojo is landing multiple Black Flashes, as we see, none of them have been strong enough to just physically destroy any of the 10 shadows, which forces Gojo to use his ultimate Hollow technique, which shouldn't be surprising to anyone since Gojo realized using it would just pretty much guarantee his victory. And if Sukuna got hit by Hollow Purple again, I mean, even Sukuna himself did say that it would be fatal for him, or it could potentially kill him, since he wouldn't be able to just tank it and just keep on fighting after that. And we see that Gojo's making the preparations for this by chanting his next attack. And Sukuna, guessing Gojo is going to be using Reversal Red, readies Magaraga to protect him from getting hit, and hopefully to adapt to Reversal Red, assuming that the Reversal Red isn't strong enough to just one-tap Magaraga. But we see that Sukuna is going a lot more desperate and just isn't as confident as he was earlier in the fight for him to be making moves like this. And yeah, Sukuna has now fallen into the sad category of anime villains who let their opponents get stronger or charge their attack, because instead of rushing Gojo before he can do this, which would have actually been the correct move, we see that Gojo shoots Reversal Red in the air, and Sukuna is confused by this at first. But we see that Sukuna begins to panic in the funniest panel of Sukuna that I think we've ever gotten, because the Reversal Blue Orb that destroyed Agito is still in the air, floating like it's just a spirit bomb. And Sukuna is pretty much begging Magaraga to chase the red and either tank it so it doesn't make contact with blue, or destroy the spirit bomb using its adaptation. Because if blue and red make contact physically, it would just create a hollow purple in a way that we've never seen it before in the series. And Gojo really did play Sukuna here, because had Magaraga not adapted to Reversal Blue, he would have been sucked into the gravitational field and could have destroyed it that way. But Gojo punches Magaraga away before he can do anything, because he got sucked in by Blue's gravitational pull so fast, it's as if he teleported to the exact spot where he needed to be. So yeah, the adaptation, believe it or not, actually backfired here, and honestly it makes me wonder if Gojo had planned this all along. Because honestly, if this is the case, out of everything in this entire fight, to me, personally, this is probably the highest IQ play on his part. But after Gojo punches Magaraga away, Sukuna tries to use a technique which acts the same way as Piercing Blood to make the Reversal Red explode before it can make contact with Blue, which apparently is just Max Elephant's ability of rod manipulation, which apparently has a lot of the same fundamentals as the Piercing Blood technique. So, I mean, yeah, that's pretty cool. But this does not matter because when Sukuna tries to insult Gojo by telling him once again that he's one-upped him, Gojo just punches Sukuna and just enhances Blue's strength by using a chant which nullifies Sukuna's attack. And before things can just take a crazy turn, in the next panel, it switches over to Yuta apologizing to Kusakabe for emitting his Black Air Force energy by going to pull up against Sukuna, beating the Kashimo slander and the fraud allegations on Twitter. Because Yuta realizes had he had gone on over to help Gojo, he would have held him back and Gojo wouldn't be able to pull off the impossible. Now, I mean, on a side note, this is just a really weird spot to put this panel because before it made it seem like Yuta was about to pull up deep and pretty much get himself killed by Sukuna, if not Gojo himself. Because I fully believe Gojo would have been more than willing to sacrifice Yuta if it actually meant beating Sukuna. After all, the students and Kashimo did comment that Gojo may have forgotten about saving Megami in the first place, so, yeah. In any case, Blue and Red merge together, and Gojo has his Vegeta moment because it causes a giant explosion that blasts everything in the area, Gojo included, and turns everything to dust. Magaraga's real included, so RIP Magaraga, I mean, bro will be missed. And I'm not gonna lie, when I first read this, I honestly thought Gojo was going to die because Gege had stated that no one can destroy Gojo, but Gege never said anything about the possibility of Gojo destroying himself. And in the next panel, we see Sukuna, who is clearly done and taken an incredible amount of damage because, I mean, his shirt has been destroyed, he lost his left hand, and honestly, he seemingly lost his right foot as well. And I gotta be honest, I don't know where to put respect on Sukuna's name for actually being able to tank an attack that realistically would have killed anyone else in this series, or he just has as much plot armor as Kenjaku, which I didn't even think was possible. And apparently in the next panel, Gojo actually survived his attack and is even better than before because Gojo, after landing all the black flashes, well, it brought back his reverse curse technique to a normal level. So yeah, he's gonna be able to fully heal himself. And then things switch on over back to Kusakabe and Yuji, and with Kusakabe saying that compared to Gojo, Sukuna lost Madaraga, his RCT is slower than Gary the Snail, and can no longer physically fight with domain amplification. And him and Yuji conclude that Gojo has won the battle of the strongest. However, the narrator states that the battle result of the strongest is engraved in Shinjuku. So it isn't outright saying that Gojo won the fight, only commenting on the destruction that these two caused to the city, which is basically being televised for the world to watch. So I'm actually wondering what the world's reaction is to all of this. But yeah, even though it seems like realistically the fight should be over, at least from the student's perspective, and many of you watching this video, I mean, Sukuna is still standing, obviously a little short because of, well, missing a leg, but the point still stands, no pun intended. We know that Sukuna has something up his sleeve, and that the students and even Gojo himself are seemingly unaware of this, although the students at least suspect that he does have something that he's hiding. And this could honestly be a combination of things. I mean, it could be Yuzuru's gift that we still don't know what it actually is. I mean, if you believe in the theories of 10 shadows having a secret technique of revival, even an 11th shadow, as a result of all of these 10 shadows being destroyed, I mean, that's also a possibility considering that all of the 10 shadows have never actually been destroyed before throughout JJK's history. We also have Sukuna's own curse technique, which we still don't know what it is. And even the binding vow between Sukuna and Kenjaku could come into effect in some way, considering that we don't know what the terms of the binding vow actually are. But let me know, what do you think will happen next? If you liked the video, drop a like and subscribe for more awesome videos. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.